Yesterday, we sheared the sheep, and I sold the fleece to a very kind lady, but there was a few handfuls left in the pasture, so I thought it'd be kind of fun to try my hand at cleaning raw wool, or washing raw wool. I've never done this before. I don't really know what I'm doing. I found the step-by-step guide, so I'm going to go by that. And obviously, like, if you were doing this in real life, you'd have a whole fleece. I only have about a handful, but I figure it's probably the same method whether it's a handful or a full fleece. So let's see what happens. Step one was fill this with hot water and a tiny bit of dish soap. It didn't really give me a ratio, so we're gonna wing it. Hopefully it works, but I'll err on the side of less soap, and if I have to do this step more than once, then that's fine. So here we go. I was just using cold water to fill up a bucket that I'm gonna bring out to the trough, so I'm letting it run in hot water for a moment. That is how much soap I'm using. Hopefully that's not too much, but let's fill it up. The water truck is here, so we have plenty of water at our house. And I'm going to turn off the camera because it's getting heavy. Okay, so it's full. Got it soapy water. There's my wool. It did say to put it in a mesh bag, which I don't have one, so we're going to wing it like this. Like I said, it's just a handful, so I can't imagine it's that big a deal. But we're going to let it soak in here for about half an hour or so. That is hot. So what this is going to do is it's going to get some of the debris and the lanolin off. You don't want to let the water get cold. It will cool off a bit, but you don't want to let it get cold, because if you do that, then the lanolin will just soak right back into the hair and you're back at step one anyway. We'll probably have to do this more than once, but that's okay. So I'm going to go refill water troughs and come back to this in a bit. So this has been soaking for a while. I didn't actually time it, so I don't actually know how long it's been. But we're going to go ahead with step two, which is to drain it and then do it again. Okay, so when you're draining it, you want to make sure obviously the wool doesn't come out, but you want all the dirty water. You can see how dirty it is. I've just had it sitting here, so that's just all dirt and muck and oil that's lifted off in the hot soapy water. But yeah, you drain it out, put the soap and water back in. You want to make sure that the water isn't pouring directly onto the wool, so you can either push it aside, take it out, just keep it out of the way. I think I put too much soap this time, but that may speed up the process, I don't know. But it says to do it 3 or 4 times, or 5 times, more or less, depending on how dirty it is. So we'll just keep doing this process a few times. I won't show you because it's just the same process, but once this is done, we'll move on to the next step. It's soaked in this soapy water, I think 4 times now, and next step is to rinse it. The rinsing process is you just put it in hot water and leave it. It didn't say how long to leave it for, so I'm just gonna kind of wing it and let it sit until the water's not so hot anymore. Still hot, but not as hot. And then after that, we just have to dry it. It's definitely a noticeable difference in the oiliness and greasiness of the wool. Before, when I'd take it out, like the first time I rinsed it or washed it, and I took it out to replace the water, my hands, you could feel the oil, the lanolin on my hands. This time I couldn't. I could just rinse my hands and be done with it. So it's definitely working. Last step is to dry it. So there's a few different methods for this. You can do it in your washing machine as long as like it's set on the spin cycle. I've read that it's better to do it in a top loading washer. You don't want to do it in a dryer because the heat will just felt it, so unless that's what you're doing anyway, you probably don't want to do that. But the other method is to just hand dry it, which is what I'm going to do. So I've got some paper towel laid out. It's been super, super dry. We've got a lot of forest fires happening, so I anticipate it drying pretty quickly. But depending on your climate, it can take a while. You may want to dry it inside, you may want to dry it outside. Whatever works for you. I'm doing such a small amount that in here in our laundry room is probably fine. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but anyway, let's do this first and then figure that out second. Okay, so you take it out of the water and you don't want to wring it out, but you can gently squeeze the water out either on the edge of the tub or in this such a small amount. Just did it with my hands. Then you lay it out to dry, or in the washing machine like I talked about earlier, and let it sit so it's fully dry, and then you can process it however you want, whether that's hand spinning it or felting it, whatever you're gonna do. I don't know if this is any good for anything, but we're gonna see. Anyway, that's my video. My first ever time processing raw wool. As you can see, there's still debris all through it. You can pick through it. I've been picking through it kind of every step of the way, but there's still plenty in there, so I'll have some more picking to do over the next few days until it's fully clean. I'll probably post something on the community tab once it's all done. But yeah, that's my first time. Seems to work pretty good. It doesn't really have a strong sheep smell anymore. It's not oily. So I guess that would work for you. Hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you next time.